I am here today to defend the Livingston County Sheriff Department and all of the wonderful servants of the people standing here behind me, as well as those who are out working the road and could not be here. These folks that are here, just for the record and to be clear, they are here on their own free time, the ones in uniform, not getting paid, but to show their loyalty and support for the citizens of Livingston County. The recent article in the Daily Leader, wherein Livingston County Board member John Miller aired several grievances he has with the Sheriff's Department, demands a response at this time. We at the Sheriff's Department have tried too many times to count to cooperate and work with Mr. Yoder over the past several months, but he has put up roadblocks at every turn. A good example of this is the subject of $85 used for the purchase of children's candy for the Threshermen's Parade. Really? How pathetic. This was brought up at the September 8th committee meeting that he mentioned in that article. It has long been the practice of the Sheriff's Department to develop and maintain strong relationships with the citizens that we serve, and especially the children. Because as I've said many times before, and I will say many times going forward, nothing is more important or precious than our children. Part of developing these relationships includes participating in parades, passing out candy to the children, appearing in their schools and other community events. It is ever so shameful that Mr. Yoder brought up the matter in the fashion that he did. To be clear, I was elected by the people of Livingston County to run the Sheriff's Department and to be their public safety expert. I answer to the people of Livingston County, not a few certain members of the board. I stand by the decisions that I have made and the great people working here in the Sheriff's Department. I promised them from day one that I would have their back, and I will never go back on that promise. The suggestion by Mr. Yoder and board member Mike Ingalls that someone from my department walked in uniform for a political candidate is absolutely false and completely unsubstantiated by any facts. While neither of them can identify who made the accusation or what officer was allegedly observed, I, nor did my chief deputy, appreciate being verbally attacked about this at that meeting. I was at the Threshermen's Parade. I was in full uniform, along with Deputy Sam Fitzpatrick and K-9 Officer Zico. The three of us rode in the K-9 vehicle while representing the Livingston County Sheriff's Department, which has been common practice for over the last 25 plus years. If there had been any other deputies wearing a uniform, marching in the parade, I would have seen them. The fact that an overwhelming majority of law enforcement in this county supports one candidate over another running for state's attorney is not improper. And that's what this was all about, really. My deputies are free to choose who they will and they will not support. Any allegation that they were in uniform, once again, is absolutely false. I assure you that no one from my department engaged in any misconduct. Furthermore, what my deputies do on their off time, when they are not in uniform, is their own personal business, as long as it's not illegal or improper. As your duly elected sheriff, it will never be my practice to infringe upon anybody's, be it a deputy or anyone else's, First Amendment rights and their freedom of speech. Nor will I ever submit to being beholden to this type of governmental tyranny. Furthermore, back to Mr. Yoder, do I have ties to Flanagan? You bet I have ties to Flanagan. I'm a taxpayer and I'm a homeowner in Flanagan. And I have many friends in Flanagan as well as throughout Livingston County. Do I know Patricia Estes? You bet I know her. And yes, she is a friend of mine and has been a friend for a very long time. However, it wouldn't matter whether she was a friend or not. I did not sign a warrant for her ex-husband's arrest. A judge did that. It is unfortunate that Mr. Yoder chose to speculate, those are his own words, without any foundation whatsoever. I am further disappointed that the Daily Leader chose to print such speculation with no basis at all in fact and without contacting me for a response. The bottom line is that it is my duty as sheriff to serve that warrant. I do not decide what warrants to serve or not to serve. How ludicrous to even think that that would be the case. I serve all warrants. And while I'm not going to waste time getting into specifics about the cost of serving warrants, I will point out that we do recover a fee for mileage and reimbursement, all of which goes directly into the general fund. Mr. Yoder complains that I had not been present at any Sheriff, Jail, and License Committee meeting between June 2nd, 2015 and September 8th, 2015, which made it difficult to balance the budget, so he says. Neither myself nor anyone from my department is required to attend a Sheriff, Jail, and License Committee meeting. We have always attended those meetings as a courtesy to the board to answer any general questions they may have. If I am not personally present or was not personally present, there was always a representative, my designee, from the department present. Also, on the issue of the budget, while we're on it, even though the Livingston County Jail brought in $1.1 million each year the last 2 years and is on target to bring that in again in 2016 from our federal and Cook County inmate programs, all of which go straight into the Livingston County General Fund. Our department gets no extra benefit for that money. I was informed that this year my budget would have to be cut by approximately $422,000. It's almost $500,000, folks. Awful funny you would cut that much from a place that's bringing you in $1 million a year. And at the risk of jeopardizing public safety. As a result of the budget cuts enacted, the Sheriff's Department may have to lay off as many as 4 officers in the future to meet these budget constraints. We are the 4th largest county in the state of Illinois with 1,043 square miles to patrol. My number one concern is, and always has been, the safety of the citizens of Livingston County. We are sometimes short officers in such a way that when we have a call in other towns, we have to rely on other towns to provide backup, because by the time an officer may get from Chatsworth to Streeter, we could have an officer or a victim in grave danger. It seemed very ironic to me that at the very moment my budget was cut by $422,000, causing a possible risk to public safety, a bike path at a cost of $377,000 over 3 years was immediately approved. Also, at a time when, to my knowledge, most departments were being cut, the state's attorney's budget was increased by $55,000, giving him another assistant state's attorney at a time when his caseload and outcomes of his cases continues to decline. This would seem to me to be a favored endorsement of a state attorney up for re-election. And it's absolutely amazing at the sum total of these two figures added together. They seem to me to be exactly the same that my department was cut when you add 377 to 55. Moreover, Chairman Marty Fannin showed his disdain for law enforcement and public safety when he made a comment at a meeting indicating we should just park the squad cars and not even patrol. Just sit there and wait for calls to come in and then go answer them. To me, and those of us in law enforcement, that was an insult, okay? And pretty ludicrous as well. On August 7, 2015, all of the area towns and villages in Livingston County that participated previously in police protection and coverage from the Sheriff's Department received a letter from Chairman Fannin that in the future, if they want to continue having police coverage, it will cost each town or village $85,000 per year. Where in the world are these small villages and towns supposed to come up with $85,000 each year? Isn't that why we pay taxes? For the safety of our citizens? Chairman Fannin then proceeded to direct the Finance Committee to continue cutting the Sheriff's Department budget until we were down to $422,000 being cut out of it. This type of tyrannical abuse of power needs to stop. Finally, I feel compelled to comment on the subject over my public safety director stipend, or raise, Mr. Yoder called it. I will say that there is one thing that he was right about. The raise was granted before I became sheriff, and then was placed into my budget, where it still sits today, only never to be paid to me. I would simply point out that according to a trusted legal advisor, the controlling statute and case law does not prohibit the Finance Committee or the board from honoring their commitment that they made to me before I became sheriff. Last but not least, I feel that due to Mr. Yoder's very unethical action of spreading speculation and innuendo about a private citizen who did nothing to deserve that. Absolutely nothing did she do to deserve that. That kind of treatment, along with falsehoods and lies about Livingston County Sheriff's deputies, as a result, he should tender his resignation immediately. Yes, I'm calling for John Yoder's resignation from the county board.
Amen.
Because to my knowledge, never before has a private citizen or a sheriff been treated with such malicious disrespect by a board member. And I have to wonder why. In conclusion, I ask the citizens of Livingston County to continue having faith in me and to continue supporting me, the Sheriff's Department, and all these wonderful men and women that work at the department, because these are the men and women that make daily sacrifices. It would appear to me that sometimes some of the things I hear at board committee meetings makes this really seem like a joke. While we're out placing our lives on the line to keep the citizens of this county safe every day and every night. Once again, I was duly elected by the people of Livingston County, this wonderful county, to serve as your sheriff, and I intend to do just that. Once again, thank you all for your continued trust in myself and my department.
Yes, sir.
That'll be the end of this press conference. And I will take just a few questions, if anybody has any. Yes, sir.
I received a call shortly before the press conference. I just wanted to know if you had any comment on several citizens in Odell who had conversed with you while you were employed with Enbridge. And are you using county vehicles and equipment when you and or your deputies are employed with Enbridge?
My deputies do not use county vehicles, okay? First of all. Second of all, what I do in my own personal time is my business, just like what they do in theirs is their business. Now, yes, I will tell you, we have worked part-time for Enbridge, but none of the deputies use their personal vehicles to do that, or they do use their personal vehicles to do that. That's what I mean to say. And I'm trying to figure out how and why that's news.
Sir,
That's what I thought. Yes, sir.
on behalf of being a veteran paratrooper and a disabled vet, I applaud you. I applaud you and your men for your hours of work, standing tall for all of us, while our country is falling down and some small town has got to cry like a baby. This is child's play. I am dishonored.
Thank you. Once again, that would be the result of tyrannical governmental abuse of power.
Exactly right.
So,
Enough of that today.
yes. If there are no further questions, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Really appreciate you. And if there's anything you ever need from the Sheriff's Department, please don't hesitate to call us.